Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and how he is now on enough state ballots to get 270 electoral votes and therefore enough to be elected president. In this entire election season, RFK Jr. as an independent candidate has been working to get on state ballots at least enough to be able to win the presidency, because you need 270 electoral votes to win, and independent candidates aren't automatically granted ballot access as Democrats and Republicans basically are. Independents and third parties have to fight to get ballot access using signature gathering. They have to get enough signatures in states in order to, turn those signatures into the the Secretary of State's office, which in turn gives them ballot access. For example, well, it doesn't say in Texas since he's already on, but for example, Kansas requires 5,000 signatures from a campaign in order to get on the ballot. You need 5,000. Now, a lot of these signatures are messed up. It's not just signatures. You have to put your address and I think your occupation and all that and your email or something. And ultimately, a lot of signatures are invalid, is what they call it. They something's messed up. So, basically, campaigns have to get much more than the actual required amount. So, for example, the Kennedy campaign says that they always want to get more than double the amount that is actually required. So, they are aiming for 10,000 when only 5,000 are required. So, that ultimately creates a very complicated and lengthy process when it comes to gaining ballot access for independents and third parties. But no one thought he could do it. No one thought that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as an independent campaign, with a campaign that was supposed to be very disorganized, that's what people were saying. People reportedly left the campaign because of how disorganized it was. That is clearly not true, because somehow, very quickly, they have time. They have, a lot of time in many of these states to get ballot access, but the Kennedy campaign has been able to do this quick, and they are already in June on enough ballots to get 270. They are eligible for 278 electoral votes. You need 270 to win the presidency. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can be elected president of the United States now. Now, I do want to mention, and the media loves to talk about this, how not all of the states are official yet, because some Secretary of State's office haven't certified the petitions, certified the signatures, yet confirmed them. But, I mean, if you have the signatures, if you have more than double the amount of signatures required, like the Kennedy campaign does, then you basically is guaranteed ballot access in all of these states. But looking at, we have a very wide field of third-party candidates, and what Robert F. Kennedy Jr., very smartly, the campaign has been very clever with this, but they have been able to align with little-known state third parties, and I'm not talking about Libertarian Party and Green Party, because they put up their own candidates, and they are nationwide parties. But, many people don't realize this, but there are smaller third parties in each individual state. For example, in the state of Delaware, there's a party called the Delaware Independent Party. And I live in Connecticut. I know that a few years ago they don't have ballot access anymore, but there used to be a party called the Griebel-Frank Party in Connecticut. I know, it's strange. There is, there is, of course, all of these other third parties, but there's also a party called the Natural Law Party that has ballot access in Michigan, and the list goes on and on, the Green Mountain Party in Vermont. But what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his campaign has been able to do is get in contact, reach out to these little-known third parties in each individual state who, obviously are not going to win the presidency since they're only on the ballot in one or two states. And the Kennedy campaign has been able to get these smaller parties to endorse Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So what that means is that the Kennedy campaign now doesn't have to go out for any signatures or anything at all. No work has to be put into it. Once this party that already has ballot access in a state puts or names Kennedy as their nominee, then Kennedy, immediately gets ballot access in the state. And you saw this with Kennedy gaining ballot access in the huge state of Florida. 30 electoral votes. That's a huge state. That is almost what put him over 270. It was actually Minnesota, but right before Minnesota, he got ballot access in Florida, which boosted him. But for example, in Florida, the Reform Party, which is, as the New York Times put it, a minor but storied party. The Reform Party was big back in the 1990s. This is the party that Ross Perot founded. I believe Florida is the only state where they still have ballot access. But Kennedy and the campaign got the Reform Party to nominate Kennedy, and just like that, with no signatures required, with no signatures, with no volunteers going out and collecting signatures, Kennedy got ballot access in Florida instantly, just because the Reform Party there nominated him. So ultimately, that is what has helped him. And it doesn't just go for Florida. You can see here in this table, we see that the Natural Law Party, as I mentioned briefly before, in Michigan nominated him. The American Independent Party in California nominated him. The Independent Party of Delaware nominated him. Alliance Party in South Carolina nominated him as well as his own We the People Party, but that's his own party that he created. So, the Kennedy campaign has been very clever with this. And what that means, why this is so significant is, one, we knew that he would eventually get 270. But this is important because this is before the June 27th CNN debate. And Kennedy is incredibly close to qualifying for this debate. I don't think that enough people are talking about this. And, he will go into how Kennedy sued or filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission. But you see here on the June 27th CNN debate, Biden versus Trump confirmed right now. You see that the requirements, I don't know if it shows it here, but the requirements were being on enough state ballots to get 270 electoral votes to be able to win, which now Kennedy has done. That's critical. And getting 15% in 4 national polls that CNN deems as qualifying, that CNN deems as legitimate, basically. And Kennedy has gotten 3 of the polls. He has gotten more than 15% in 3 qualifying polls. That's Marquette University, that's CNN. CNN's own poll had him at over 15%. And I believe it was Quinnipiac University was the last one. So that means that Kennedy, number 1, has crossed off the ballot access troubles, right? He is over 270. He now qualifies for that part of the debate. And he is at 3 of the 4 polls at 15% or higher, or more than 15%, needed to qualify. 3 of the 4. Now, I think that they stop looking at polls after like June 25th or June 24th, a few days before the debate. But Kennedy has time. And all he can do, I guess, is hope and get his name out there as much as possible and just pray that a poll comes out between now and the debate that shows him above 15% that CNN deems as qualifying. Because if he does, then Robert F. Kennedy Jr. debates. Then we will see RFK Jr. in the debates. And the Biden and Trump campaigns do not want this to happen. RFK Jr. filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission because CNN and the Trump and Biden campaigns were reportedly in coordination, which is not supposed to happen. That's unlawful, and it's, in many ways corrupt. Many people would consider it corrupt. Because apparently the Trump and Biden campaigns told CNN that we don't want Kennedy to debate. We won't debate if Kennedy is on the stage. I don't know, if CNN agreed or what. I doubt it, because they put out these requirements that Biden and Trump would clearly qualify for, and it left the door open for someone like Kennedy to debate. So I doubt that CNN would just like that, unfairly completely exclude Kennedy from the debates, even if he did meet the requirements. So Kennedy definitely had a right to complain. File a complaint with the Federal Election Commission, and that'll be interesting to see how that goes if Kennedy isn't allowed to debate, but if he qualifies. But I mean, this is really big. This ballot access, he got ballot access in Minnesota that puts him over 270. He now has enough electoral votes to win the presidency. And, again, we knew he was going to get to that, but even more importantly, he can now get into the debates if he just gets one more poll that shows him over 15%. So, he's only at 8%, I believe, 8.6% in the average of all the polls, but some are outliers, and some do show him over 15%. Now he just needs one that CNN deems as qualifying. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you like this type of content. Drop a comment down below. Drop a like. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.